Good morning.
Oh, it's great to see everybody. Happy May Day, happy Labor Day, happy just any need to be happier, any reason to be happier is a great way to be able to smile. And I really hope you're all keeping as well as you can be. I think that phrase I keep on using every Friday, but I mean it. I really hope you're as well as you can be in your part of the world right now. Dara, great to see you here. Juan, Anya, of course, Jenny, lovely to see you in Cape Town, and Frank. Always the Golden Gate Bridge is confusing, but Frank in Belgium, in Brussels. And Onyango, I think we have Onyango coming in as well. I can't see Onyango, but you're more than welcome, Onyango, to join and Alejandra, who's up at a crazy time in the morning, but you're
yeah.
it's always great to see you.
Hi.
And Dara is back. Hi, good morning.
And Dara, if you wouldn't mind just unmuting yourself and saying where are you? Because I'm forgetting, my geography of the world is confusing me right now. Where are you signing in from?
I'm signing in from Lebanon, and the reason why I've been I haven't been very consistent with the practice is that I have a check-in meeting with work at 11 a.m. usually. It's supposed to be 15 minutes, but it usually goes longer than that. So I've been a bit.
No problem at all. Well, ahlan wa sahlan from Lebanon. I hope it's treating you well there at the moment, and
it's good. It's we have an added challenge of an economic crisis that's eating us up. So it's really complicated, but we're holding up.
Brilliant, and it's really nice to have you to join us. And we have some announcements about where this session may be going from here, because I know that today was the final day initially for the 6 or 7 sessions, but we have some information on that we can share as well. And Onyango, Rafiki in Nairobi.
Hello.
Hello, you're very welcome, Onyango.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing there? Is it it's not too early in the morning for you, is it?
No, it's not. Time? It's 11 a.m. I thought it was supposed to be 9 a.m., but it was like 11 a.m. So I think it's pretty much a good time for me. And in Kenya, is basically we are not on lockdown, but curfew. So we only operate during the day, 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay, so it's not complete lockdown, but it's curfew.
Yeah, it's curfew, but the cities are on lockdown. So like, for example, I live in Nairobi, and we are not allowed to leave Nairobi because it's believed that a lot of most cases have been tested in Nairobi. And so moving out of Nairobi would put those in the villages at risk. So we just stay in Nairobi and no out of city movement, except for resources like food and supplies. That's all that's allowed to get out and into Nairobi.
Okay, well, thanks so much for sharing that information as well. That's new to me. And just down the road from you, I know we have Jenny signing in from Cape Town here as well. Jenny, you have some guests there this morning, some guest members to our group, which is great to see.
Yeah. Hi, Nyanga. Nice to see everybody here. My son Tashi is here.
Good morning.
Say morning, Tashi.
Morning.
He likes to sit with me in the early morning and we meditate together. We open up our window and we listen to the birds and we meditate. So he's hanging out because it's always a peaceful place to be. So he might be listening in.
He's bringing peace to us as well. It's great to see this morning. And actually, what's really interesting is literally the second that we're opening up to the whole group, Anya decided to share something with me about the 1st of May being a special day for her and her family, but I didn't get to even half finish the conversation. But Anya, what were you telling me?
No, I actually only mentioned that my husband and me, we got to know each other on 1st of May. It's still controversial if it was 18 years ago or 17 years ago. we had to calculate, but yeah, this is the day when we met.
Oh, lovely. I'm sure it's a special day and May is here. For all around the world, I'm sure it's celebrated differently, but here in Spain, it's a national holiday as well for Labor Day, and back home in Ireland as well. There's very much connecting with nature and agriculture, and a big fire day for. There's fires all the time in Ireland. Some of them are received well, and some of them are not received well. But this is one of the days where the fire is received well as a symbol of hope. So, well, let's do a quick check-in. We've had the opportunity to hear from people here, but that's literally checking in, saying where you are. So we've got an extremely diverse group for a Friday morning. But the question, I suppose, is the same every Friday. How has your resilience been this week? And each week it may be, there may be similarities, but there may be changes as well. But it's just a question of how is it going for you so far? And share what you want to share, and feel free just to mute yourself and listen as well. But if anybody would like to check in and say how their week has been, and how any mental states have been coming up for you, afflictive or beneficial, and maybe how you've been managing your resilience under the circumstances that you're currently in. So it's an open check-in.
So for me, it's been interesting because on the one hand, I feel like I've gotten used to the confinement situation. It's not exactly a Stockholm syndrome yet, but it's not far from it. So I feel fine being at home, having my work, having my practices. I feel reassured when I go out that I'm doing the right thing with the protective measures and social distancing. But what's been really affecting my state the past week has been, there's been some developments in Lebanon in terms of the economic crisis, and this has been affecting how people can get their money from the banks. And it has put a strain on my mother specifically, and she has been extremely stressed out. So this has been sort of a projection on my state as well. So I feel so and so, to be honest.
So and so, yeah, I think that's a nice way of putting it. And I wish you and your family and all the people around you there as much success in acquiring. I mean, money is obviously, it plays a big part in all of our lives, for the good or for the bad. But when you haven't got access to it, and it can add as a stress, it can be very, very challenging. And is your mother there in Lebanon with you, Dara? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, we're in the same apartment.
Okay, so you have responsibility and support.
Yes, it's interesting. It's good because I have siblings, so they help as well in holding the burden. But because I live with her, I see her all day long, so I sense her stress a lot more.
I can only imagine. And anybody else, feel free. This is a fairly close-knit group here, so feel free to jump in and add any comments or questions or words of wisdom as well. But Derek, do you mind me asking, and I don't mean to be picking on you straight away, but how have you been managing that resilience? There's quite a lot going on there, but have you found any tools useful for you to be able to get through the week and ease that in a more beneficial way?
So two things. Basically, the first one is rituals. Start my day in a specific way and I end it in a specific way. This really allows me to put work in its place and put worrying in its place, and really have a space for everything during the day, so that it's not all over the place. And it's a bit ridiculous, but this little thing here, I don't know if it's a crystal or a stone or something, but I hold it all the time. I put it and it grounds me. It reminds me that I'm present in this moment and that I can put my stress in it if I want to.
Lovely. So it's a grounding mechanism that you have that just reminds you and your system to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Lovely. And thank you so much for sharing. I think Anya wanted to come in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump in. I just wanted to thank you, Dara, for sharing so much. And I was also wondering if your mom has some skills for grounding or to do any resourcing. And if you were on the call when we actually introduced the Help Now strategies, very simple strategies for putting yourself into the moment and putting yourself into the resilience zone, like touching the surface of furniture and being aware of what's happening underneath your hands and the consciously drinking, etc. Have you been on the call when we, because there are, otherwise we could quickly share those pictures, Shane, what you think, because they are very simple. And I'm in a very different place, in a very different situation. And my mom is not living in my place, but she was struggling with fear, obviously, as well. And so I did some resourcing with her, and she inspired me. And it was just such a mutual experience that I wanted to ask if you do things with your mom like that.
Well, definitely, I'd love to experiment. I think I missed the call where you shared those resources. But one thing I noticed is that when I was taking her out of the bank, for example, and she had not been able to get her money, she was angry, and she was talking and she was talking and she was talking really with a high-pitched voice and lots of stress and anger. And so I held her hands, and she calmed down. Just the fact that we were holding hands, you know, it grounded her a little bit. It just made her breathe and take a moment to think about what kind of things she was projecting.
Wonderful. So intuitively, you did the Help Now strategy actually already. Should we share them?
Yeah, if you happen to have them handy there, I'm looking for them here on my screen. And
no, you take the lead, and I'm looking for it. So
okay, perfect. I think that's a good idea. And if we can't find them right now, certainly on the video from the first couple of weeks that should have been shared, it's on the website as well. So if you go into the resilience training and then look at the videos, we have examples of the Help Now strategies. And I really agree with Anya. There's 10 strategies, but almost intuitively, a lot of people are using them, like the touch, the grounding, the support, sitting on a chair, going into nature. We know them intuitively, but it's the discipline to be able to say, in this particular situation, maybe I'm going to employ one of these particular Help Now strategies. But yeah, that's great. And if we can bring them up, that'd be fantastic. But thank you, Dara, for sharing. And I also know it's Ramadan right now in many parts of the world. So that's another thing that's happening outside. For some people, that's a very calming thing, and for some people, it can be, you know, without food and water during the day as well, it can add stress to the body as well. But it's different for different people. But how do we say Happy Ramadan for those who are practicing or not practicing? But is it Eid Mubarak?
Yes, Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem, yes.
Yeah.
Ramadan Kareem. Okay, thank you. And welcome to Juan as well. I just see Juan. I hadn't welcomed Juan or introduced Juan, so good to see you, Juan, this morning as well. Would anybody, I mean, unless Anya has found those already, she's nodding. Yeah, great. So maybe we can go through some of the Help Now strategies, just to reiterate some of the tools that are there at our disposal every day.
Quickly have to. Can you see my screen now?
We can, yeah. And now we can't. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you can see it now again.
Perfect, yeah.
You want to lead them, guide us through it, Shane? Or?
Well, yeah. I'll take the top 5, but really it's just a question of observing and seeing which ones might work for you, because we have 10 here, but some of them might appeal to you more than others. So the simple thing of drinking a glass of water or juice or a cup of tea, and just observing the sensations that can bring to your body, and the sounds even, and the taste, it can really bring yourself back into a space of resilience. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do, have that space or equanimity for a pause, and then to continue with what we're doing in a more mindful way. Closing your eyes and opening them again, just paying attention to something that catches your eye in terms of colors. And this is where nature can really come in, or where we can bring our mind's eye to colors that attract us and soothe us and make us feel calm, strong, resilient. Touching, the focusing on the sense of touch. So it could be a piece of furniture, or even a cup or a table or something that's close by. In Dara's case, you have your little stone, or I'm not sure if it's a stone or a crystal, but even that sense of touch and observing your body, how it might ground itself while connecting to another object that's not your own body, and that can be very useful at times for certain people. The temperature in the room, I'm not sure how your room is right now, but in Madrid, right, this weekend, I know the temperatures are rising. So I'm aware of the increasing temperature. Last week was quite cold here, but now this morning, on a Friday morning, the 1st of May, I can feel the room is getting warmer. And just what does that do to your body? Noticing that. And then the final one that I can talk about here is just walking mindfully and paying attention to the sensations in your body, your feet on the ground, just feeling the air passing by. And can you feel the air touching your face or your hands or your feet? I love the idea even of visualizing, because we can't do it right now in Madrid. Like, we can't get out still, but that's soon changing, thankfully. And I'm very hopeful and optimistic. But walking in barefooted in the grass, for example, is a visualization that I will try to do to ground myself and bring myself back to the into the resilience zone, or the OK zone, as we call it as well. Anya, would you like to go through the bottom 5?
Sure, and perhaps the OK zone is a perfect description already, and I think it's also nice to see that in our resilience zone we can take everything what is good and bad in a proportional way, so that we don't get knocked up high or in the low zone. So I like the picture of the scale here as well. Yeah, I mean, all those tools are very simple, and I'm just I think just quickly going through, because we've got some other practices planned for today as well. But just to emphasize again, Shane said it already, it's on the website. You can even, I think, download it. And it's also important to point out that this is from the Trauma Resource Institute. So they're very kind. So Dr. Michael Carlin and Dr. Elaine Miller-Carras, they are cooperating a lot, and she actually designed those Help Now strategies. Okay, so the next one would be count backwards, just to focus on something. Different things are suitable for different people. So if numbers and counting is giving you consolation, this is a good one. But also to just be aware and look around and see what you've got, and name the 6 colors of your surroundings can be putting yourself very much back into the present moment, and with the sync of body and mind, get more into your resilience zone. Very similar to the one with the furniture, you can touch something in nature or notice the sensations of your hand on the surface. Again, this would be Dara and your stone. Focusing auditively, so different people have different importance of senses, I'd say. So notice 3 sounds within the room and 3 sounds outside is another suggestion. And then, and I remember we did that, and Catherine, you were describing it like 6 weeks ago, how it worked when we can push ourselves against the wall and just feel ourselves, feel the our back, or push your hands against the wall. Different positions might trigger different sensations, so we have to be aware of our bodily sensations here and change if you don't feel comfortable. And yeah, this is essentially it. Simple tools with great impact. I've spoken to people who were in quarantine and realized that they are trembling and being really afraid, and the nice thing is it works at once. And I remember Jane, you were mentioning this, that our body is always in the moment and our mind keeps wandering, and just bringing our mind back to the body is really very helpful. And acquiring this bodily literacy we often lose is so important, especially in a situation like that. I'm handing over to you, Shane.
But actually, it's great, Anya, if you wouldn't mind just keeping that slide up for a second, because two things were coming to my mind just now while you were speaking, that, you know, this is a physical way we can do things. And I've talked to Onyanga in great depth about physically moving as well, and how that can bring us back to our okay zone, whatever that might be for you. I found this week, it's just counting while doing movements or challenges has been great to bring the body back. But then the mind itself, one of the things we often talk about, and sometimes people get tired of us reiterating this within the CIT, but focusing on progress rather than perfection, and looking at some of the things that we call thinking traps that we get caught up in sometimes, or we become distorted. And one of the thinking traps that is introduced in CIT is this concept of impermanence. That things might be feeling right now, you might be feeling out of your resilience zone, you might be feeling triggered in some way, but knowing that it will pass, and that everything passes, like the analogy of the clouds in the sky that are passing through. So impermanence is one of them, and also the realistic expectations or unrealistic expectations sometimes that we have. So we talk about progress rather than perfection, and we also talk about aspirations or aspiring rather than expectations. And sometimes if we attach ourselves, like today is going to be the best Friday ever, and we have to achieve all of these incredible things on a Friday or any given day. But if we have an aspiration to achieve, you know, have to be as ambitious as we can, but not really become attached to the expectation. I've personally found that quite a useful mind concept to bring to mind. And then finally, the thing I'll say is, it's a thermometer here, I think we're looking at in terms of noticing the room temperature. But if you imagine this as a compass, and we in the introduction within CIT, we talk about just changing your gauge even slightly. So if you changed, if it was a compass and you change it even a tiny degree, your destination can be changed dramatically over time. And so it's not expecting everything to change right now. And I think that's one of the things that I've struggled with at times during this whole period, that we don't know the destination. We don't know when it's going to end, or when we're going to be coming out of lockdown and then slowly coming back to whatever sense of normal might be out there. But if we have control over changing our gauge, changing our compass, even slightly, just reconnecting with where we're going and our values and so much more, it allows us feel, at least in some way, in control of something. And I'm not sure how you're feeling about that, but they're just thoughts that came to my mind when I was seeing these images in front of me. But thank you, Anya, for bringing that up. And maybe if we stop sharing, we might just have a quick round, because I know that we opened the check-in and then I went into this, but I think it was useful for me, at least it was. So thank you. Would anybody else like to share about any new thoughts or realizations or learning that has come to you this week, and how you've managed to at least attempt to stay within your okay zone?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I had quite an insight this week, because we've had a situation in a hospital that I'm supporting, a project where we deliver food and bundles for pregnant moms. And the person who was delivering is having might be having COVID, and she didn't wash all the fruit and involved and so forth. So we're facing quite a crisis and a responsibility, and I head up this program. So it's been about putting down a lot of fires. And what I observed in my own mind was the sense of mental proliferation that we've been talking about, and how that happens. And so I really get it, I really get that when we're out of sorts, just getting ourselves into the moment and aligning into the moment is so good, because we just get ourselves back into that okay zone. But to maintain it, this equanimity, how do we maintain equanimity? It's really about knowing how and seeing how the mind just goes and keeps going and keeps attaching to things, or suppressing things, but all the time it's always doing it. And so the one insight that came was, someone mentioned how when we blame, if we're angry or if we're anxious and we blame something. You know, we're always trying to search whether we're blaming ourselves or we're blaming others. When we blame, when we put anger or anxiety and we blame, apparently we get a rush of dopamine. This is so interesting to understand in terms of neuroscience, because we get energized by that. So to blame the government, to blame someone else, or whatever, and this is, you know, so even just chemically understanding that we get a high from this, and this energizes us, and it takes away accountability of actually having to deal with whatever the difficulty is. Just in the same way that if we blame ourselves, we actually, you know, bringing up the threat system in the brain. It's more cortisol. So really the sense of what you've been talking about in terms of developing equanimity is to really be with whatever emotion is really there. And I think this is where we can really cultivate our strengths, because we're talking about cultivating kindness and patience and tolerance. And it's actually in the practice. It's when we're sitting with the difficulty, you know, and not to suppress it, not to go onto it, push, but to really just sit with ourselves and go through it. Because the only way to overcome something is to go through it. And a lot of the times, in my own experience with meditators, they dissociate. You know, they will use the breath or a focus to actually move away from the actual experience. And noticing that is very, very important. So to notice for me how my mind just went to, oh, it was, you know, looking at the whys. Oh, why is this happening? It just instigates my mind to attach, and very much to blame. So that was deeply insightful, and just sitting with the discomfort of what is. And that is for me really the developing the equanimity and being with things, not having to do anything about it, because the doing is the suppression and the attaching, but just being, and that is difficult. It is really difficult. For me, that's real resilience, you know, wow, am I learning how to really, to just be with it, be with difficult things. So this week has been really difficult because I don't know what's going to pan out, and I feel very responsible for all the pregnant moms in the hospital that we've been feeding, and this is quite a crisis situation. So I'm very grateful for the insights and just going deeper into this practice, and really seeing where my mind goes and noticing and trying to develop equanimity. And it is nice to know, as you say, Shane, that everything moves and changes. It's the only constant we have is the impermanence of things, so that, you know, in a way, nothing is solid. And to know that I am not this experience, I'm experiencing this, and you know, it will also move and change, but it's really being able to stay in equilibrium, and it's a hard thing. And but this course really does help with developing insights into that. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jenny. Thanks for sharing your insights from this week. And of course, yeah, if we can replace that dopamine with something more beneficial than blame, fantastic. But I wasn't aware of that release of dopamine, but we are referring to some of the skills we talk about in CIT as well. So this is not necessarily a course, a CIT course. It's an extra resilience session, I suppose, and we can talk about where it's going to go from here. But thank you, Jenny, for checking in. And the 8 worldly concerns, you remind me of those, because blame being one of them, and avoiding blame often is something that we talk about as well. But we probably have time for one more quick check-in, and then we're gonna move in and maybe introduce 1 or 2 other practices that we haven't had already in the Friday session. But is there anybody else with anything burning that they would like to share with the rest of the group before we jump into a practice? They may put you on the spot there saying we have to move on, but you can say something. So if there is anything that we can share, hopefully we can do that as well in the next 30 minutes or so. But I just wanted to also announce before Anya's going to take us to our first practice that this particular session, we've decided not to close it as a team, but if anything, amalgamate and bring more conversations into the pot. I've certainly, I can only speak from the eye, but I've been finding it beneficial through the last 6 or 7 Fridays now, and I've been looking forward to this session. So we are conscious that we didn't want to shut it down straight away, because if other people are finding it useful, it might be something in their week that they can get some energy from as well. So what we're hoping to do is to amalgamate it with the other resilience session that is happening. So that's going to continue, but the day may change. So I apologize if it doesn't work for everybody, but the day we're going to have this resilience session on is going to be on Wednesday. And the time, currently the time that is that's being used for the resilience session is in GMT time. So for in English or British time, it's 5 p.m. And if that's smack bang in the middle of your work day, and if that's not working, again, I apologize, but that's what we thought we'd bring resources together. So myself and Anya and Michael, who's mentioned earlier on, and Jennifer, and some of the other facilitators that we have, we're going to be coming together on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. GMT time. And that will remain up on the website, the link for that course. But this Friday morning one won't be happening next week at the same time. There's a number of other courses that are taking place and starting next week that we're very excited about, and hopefully, I know some people on this call are playing a big role in that as well, helping me to reach out to people in other parts of the world, particularly educators. And we're starting up an education specific CIT program next Monday and Wednesday. We also have facilitator courses going on, and a number of other CIT 10-week courses that are starting next week. So Friday was a very busy day as well. So it will be Wednesday, and it'll be 5 p.m. GMT time. So that's 6 p.m. where I am in the world, and I'm not sure what that translates to your time, but possibly for 2 a.m. people that are signing in from 2 a.m. like Alejandra, it might be suiting you for a change. It might be a little better for you. So that's any questions about that at all, throw them in the chat and we can try and deal with that. But this call next week won't be happening at this time. So Anya, can I hand it over to you?
Yes, you can. I've got some background noises. I think my family is just having breakfast. I hope that doesn't interfere. Anyway, the practice we are going to do for the next, let's say, what shall I say, 10 minutes, Shane?
Yeah, 10 minutes, that's great.
You're the boss. I'm going to take the take my stopwatch. So I'm going to describe a little bit. The practice is called resting the mind in its natural state. And before we start, I'm going to give you this little noise. So for now, I'm just talking. And in preparation, during the practice, you'll be asked to shift your attention from your breath to your unfolding inner experiences. And you will try not to get attached to any thoughts, feelings, or sensations and not push them away. Simply allow them to be present in the space of your mind, allow them to remain, and eventually pass away naturally. So one metaphor we will use for this is the blue sky. The mind can be thought of like the blue sky that is always present, clear and luminous, despite the clouds, birds, airplanes, or rainbows that may appear in the space of the sky. The sky shows no preference for any of these objects. It does not hold on to any of them or try and push them away. With this practice, we are cultivating the skill of equanimity we were just discussing right now, which will allow us to be less reactive to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations, and which eventually leads to stop the mental proliferation Jenny was just mentioning. So to start the practice, we get into a relaxed and upright posture, and please feel free to stop your video and just find a position you're comfortable with. And now bring to mind one of your resources. Picture this resource as vividly as possible. As you think of a resource, track the pleasant or neutral sensations in your body and rest your attention with one of these sensations. Remember, you may return to this or another resource at any time during this practice if you're feeling dysregulated. If you're ready, let's take some deep breaths. As you inhale, extend the belly out gently and fill your body with revitalizing oxygen. As you exhale, slowly and smoothly release all of the air in your lungs as you gently pull your belly button toward your spine. So 3 more deep breaths like that. Allow yourself to relax and soften. On the final deep breath, draw all of your attention to this moment as you inhale and release the breath slowly, feeling your body being supported and grounded in this moment. Now allow your breathing to return to its natural pace and rest your attention on a part of your body where you can easily feel yourself breathing. This could be the space on your upper lip where the air flows in and out of your nostrils. It also might be in the rising and falling of your chest, or it could be the expanding and contracting of your belly. Wherever it is most comfortable for you, simply rest your attention there. Allow your body to breathe naturally at its own pace and experience the physical sensations of each incoming and outgoing breath. Gently release your attention on the breath and turn your awareness to your inner experiences as they unfold. Allow any thoughts, emotions, or sensations in the space of your mind to arise naturally and simply be aware of their presence. Allow them to arise, to be there, and then pass away in their natural course. Let your mind be like the blue sky that neither blocks anything from being present in it, nor does it hold anything there beyond its natural course. Simply allow the cloud-like thoughts, sensations, and emotions to arise in the space of your mind and then to dissipate. If you become immersed or agitated by a single idea or storyline, bring your attention back to your breath for a few moments to settle your mind before renewing your focus on your unfolding inner experiences. Remain aware of the steady, clear, and deep aspect of the mind. Thoughts come and go like waves on the surface of the ocean, but the mind is clear and luminous as the ocean at its depth. Try to connect to this part of your mind. To draw our meditation to a close, let's shift our attention to the sensations of the body. Pay attention to any pleasant or neutral sensations. You may add a resolve statement or dedicatory wish at this time. And then, when you're ready, gently open your eyes. This concludes the practice.
Thank you so much, Anya, for that lovely practice. I'm not sure, it might just have been my audio, but I lost some of your audio just towards the last sentence or two there, but I could hear it's quite a faint voice, but for most of the practice, it came through perfectly, but I might have been alone there. I'm not sure. I can see Jenny nodding her head as well. So, but oh no, let's come back. Let's come back. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just the last 30 seconds or.
Okay.
Great. We were in the sky. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was in the ocean and Jenny was in the sky.
I'm glad. Thanks.
Thank you, Anya, for that. And maybe we have just a couple of seconds really to, if anybody wanted to just reflect on what was going on there for you, and particularly those who didn't get a chance to check in earlier on. I personally, when I got to the ocean bit, I felt my shoulders completely drop. For me, I was probably holding on to a lot of thoughts and ideas and things going on, but I felt my body benefiting from that practice. But how was that for you?
Well, I had an interesting I initially, when you were asking us to pay attention to a part of our bodies, I realized that while I could feel the breathing and the belly and all that other kind of stuff, I started to feel as if I had roots growing out of my feet into the earth. I mean, that's like they just went way, 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 way down. That was quite, and my feet were just tingling with these roots that were going way down into the earth. And then as it went on, it's like everything started, it's like all the molecules in my body started to separate. So I wasn't as aware of the water this time, or even the sky. It's like I was in the universe, but it was a real, and I was tapping into the things that would come by were other experiences that had been similar over my lifetime. And it was like they all kind of came together in a pattern. So I just was hanging out. And
was that pleasant?
The most unique part, the most surprising part was the feet. But that was good.
Yeah, well, you were clearly observing there, Mary Catherine, as well. I mean, that's what we're talking about here in terms of tracking our bodily sensations and trying to focus on the pleasant and unusual. But that feeling of it doesn't get much more grounded or rooted than roots coming out of your feet.
Exactly. Well, all right, that's good.
Thanks for sharing with us. Would anybody else like to share how that practice, how they found it? Okay. Thank you again, Anya, for that. Yeah, I was finding it in my upper body and much more than my lower body. So it wasn't the roots coming out, but I certainly feel that warmth that I probably needed as well. So often it's just taking the time and the discipline to say, I'm going to do a 5 or 10 minute practice like this. And we also had intended to finish off with a practice this morning, which was looking at gratitude. And within the CIT program, we progress all the way through the skills, but gratitude is an area we focus on, and often we join gratitude with forgiveness. And another area that we look at is common humanity, and it's prior to gratitude and forgiveness. But one of the common themes for me this past week or so has been looking at common humanity, recognizing that other people in my life also don't want to suffer and want to have joy and happiness. But the more we have in common, and the more we focus on what we have in common, the easier it is to have gratitude for other people around us as well. And none more so than this day last week. I was just coming out of hospital here in Madrid, and lying next to people in a room, and quite a big room, and focusing on the common humanity that nobody wanted ultimately to be there. But we were there, and we all have our different things going on. And I'm responding to that because I got a few questions there asking how I was in the chat. But I'm doing much better a week on. But those areas of gratitude and common humanity have been very strong for me in the past week at least. And so what we had intended to do was finish with the gratitude practice. But I would say that on the website, on the CIT website, there are a number of podcasts that you can download and listen to for free. You don't have to be part of the CIT program. You literally go into the download material, the free download material. And I would recommend if you find it useful to go through a guided practice like we've just gone through, there's a number of practices there that you can download and listen to. But one activity that we do, and this is like a snapshot into CIT, but also for those, like the majority of this group that have participated, one small activity that we do is an activity called Who Are You? And it's linking to common humanity, but it's particularly poignant for me right now because people change, we all change over time, and this is one of the beautiful things, and based on our values, based on experience, based on what's happening in an exterior way, we do change. And so I'm curious to know if we could even spend a couple of minutes doing this activity where I'm going to invite us into breakouts, so small breakouts, one-on-one breakouts. And the question is simple, but the answer is not always simple. The question is, who are you? So if there's two people, there's person A and person B. If Anya is A and I'm B, Anya is asking me, who are you? And I simply answer, who I am or who I feel I am in that moment. And Anya just listens and says, thank you, and repeats afterwards, who are you? And we're going to do that for 30 seconds in our breakouts, and then we'll change over and we'll ask the other person, who are you? And it's a very unusual activity to be doing it on a Friday morning. Some people have done it before, and it's just really a chance to check in with this question, who are you? And for another to be present is quite important as well. So if it's confusing in some way, we can stop and go through it. But for example, Anya, do you want to maybe ask me for 20 seconds or 10 seconds, and I'll try not to prepare anything.
Okay. So, good morning, Shane. Who are you?
I am Shane, in lockdown for another few days here in Madrid.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am a father, a proud father.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am a son.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am somebody who struggles to be inside.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am an optimist.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am challenged right now as well.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am somebody who feels I have to have answers all the time.
Thank you. This is probably the moment where...
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 30 seconds, Shane. And did you think about changing partners then in the very breakout room and do another 30?
Yeah, so this is the intention. So we have 5-6 minutes left. We won't go into the practice today, but this will be the final practice that we're going to do. So we're going to do that twice. We'll do it the first, and usually we don't tell people about that, but we're going to do it just to get a chance to exchange with another person as well. We'll come back to the room and then I'll give you another breakout call. So I'll give you a breakout call now, and everybody should have a partner, including Anya, to get even numbers. I'm just going to see yeah, we have everybody here. So you should see a breakout call. If you accept that breakout call, and then I'll give you a couple of seconds to realize who's person A and who's person B, and then we'll come back in 2 minutes time. Great, so everyone should have got your breakout call. So Dara and Jenny, I'm hoping you've got your, Jenny, you're going to be with Mary Catherine. Yeah.
I was on my own.
Oh, okay. So
did Dara go now? Because
yes, Dara did go, but then she's dropped out.
Okay.
Who are you?
I don't know. I'm confused. So should I go back to breakout room 4?
There's nobody there at the moment. Dara's internet may have gone.
Okay.
So people are coming back in 40 seconds anyway. Yeah, it's a tricky one just in terms of time, but I mean, we didn't get the just like you, but we'll try it another time.
Yeah.
Hello, Juan. Were you on your own, Juan?
No, I was with Alejandra, and then there was a pop-up.
Oh, sorry. That.
Oh.
Hello, Alejandra.
So that meant that we're coming out. Sorry.
We had 20 seconds left, but we can be quiet. We can be observers if you want to finish it off here in this room.
Okay, because I didn't get to ask Alejandra, so maybe
you're
okay.
Actually, I did this practice when I did a CRT training. I know how it is, but.
Thanks, Alejandra. Well, you're going to get another chance in 5 more seconds to hopefully do it again, but everybody is coming back.
But this is 21st century. We are dominated by technology. We can't.
Yeah.
So was it supposed to be both directions or just one direction?
In the ideal world, both directions, but we're not living in an
sorry,
ideal
Alejandra.
world.
I didn't get to.
That's okay. We're going to
Why don't we do it again? Because
Yeah, we're going to do it again.
Mhm.
If we, I'm just going to see if I can do that. I'm going to, there was a little less, I think we had somebody dropping off just in terms of,
Dara had to leave.
Dara may have to leave, so that somehow left us with less people. So I'm just going to quickly do this and try and mix people up a little bit. I hope that was okay for you. And we're going to have
It gets
sorry,
harder to answer later. We run out of things to say.
yeah.
Is it possible to go with the same person so that we can ask them?
It would have been possible 10 minutes ago, Onyango, but unfortunately, well, it might be coincidence that you have the same person, but one person will remain in the room, whoever that unfortunate person is with me. And what we're going to do is this time, there's the challenge. You don't repeat any of the same answers that you've given. So none of the same answers. There's no referees here, but try to give a completely different answer for the 30 seconds or so with the person that you're connected with. And I'm just going to open the room. If you don't get a call, it means you're in this room. You should have a call there. Okay. And we have 1 minute. Hello.
Hi.
I'm sorry. So one, you're with me, and then
Okay,
we can go
great.
so if I start off, and I'll try and give it roughly 30 seconds, and try not to repeat any of them. I don't know. I wasn't in the last room, but hello, good morning. Who are you?
Morning. I'm a plant lover.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm someone who's trying to find my own words.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm someone who's still searching and haven't got an answer.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm usually someone quite pessimistic, but trying to stay optimistic with the force of will.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm a foreigner living in a foreign land.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Juan.
Thank you.
I think that last one you finished on was perfect for me as well.
Hi, Shane. So, who are you?
I'm a foreigner living in a foreign land.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm a grandchild.
Thank you. Who are you?
I'm someone who loves the outdoors.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am missing my family.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am Seamus O'Connor.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am a little lost.
Thank you. And who are you?
I am me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was
Thank
hard.
Hard, Jenny.
Yeah, it's harder.
We unfortunately our hour is almost out, but I'm not sure if people can stay on a second. If you have to go, if it's a hard call or hard close, you have to go, no problem at all. But would anybody, like Juan, you said that was hard for you. Harder speaking or listening, or equal to both, and why was it hard?
Trying to find an understanding of myself, trying to find a different way of, in a very short period, you just have to continue to think who I am, and that was actually quite difficult. So it made me reflect more.
Great. Thanks, Juan. Frank.
I found it hard to not follow up on the answers.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm striving with as well. I know active listening is so precious, but if you get all these deep thoughts and impactful things, and you just say thank you and you go on, it feels weird. Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
Or to not want to say, oh, me too. I connect with that.
No, or just ask, yeah, a follow up, just like Frank said. Yeah.
Anybody else? Any the realizations or reflections on how that activity went for you?
You know, I noticed when I did it before, we always stay on the generic, you know, the basic, you know, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife. And when you get to do more, you get more, like they were saying, you know yourself more. You're more deep, like really who am I? Not just a daughter, a wife, or a worker or whatever. You just get deeper and deeper. And that's why it makes it harder to see, not to say the same thing you said before.
Sure.
And also not to ask questions to the other person too.
And if you can imagine, Alejandra, doing this again, like we've done in CAT, you might do it again another couple of times and not repeat. You really get to a level where that veneer or that automatic answer that you're familiar with is gone. And yeah, you're getting down to something different, roots not possibly as well.
Yeah.
Any other comments on this before we unfortunately bring this conversation to a close, but not closing possibilities? One thing that I've found over this period of time, and somebody recommended it, but even just writing down 15, 20 times on a page, I am, and not having a response, or I am, I feel, I believe, I can, I will, you know, just things that automatically roll off your tongue. But then the bottom of the list, it starts to, similarly with interactions with other people, you start to uncover things. And I've done this activity many times, like so many people here, but today's answers were different. Today's answers in the present are always going to be slightly different if we're taking off the coat. Is there any, I mean, this is just a space, and for Anya, for all the other participants, just a space to not bring this session to a close, because as I said, we are amalgamating, and hopefully people can stay on and enjoy the resilience sessions on a Wednesday. But if not, and any sort of closing comments for today, at least, or any reflections that you'd like to share with people, if you haven't had a chance to already share.
Well, I would just like to say how much I've looked forward to this every week. I have appreciated so much the way the two of you have facilitated. I appreciate so much the way everybody's participated and the way we've been able to connect and just be and check in and also do the practices and then learn different bits. It's just been I've looked forward to it, and I thank you very much, all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I must say, every Friday morning, this has become something that I look forward to, and that a small corner of my calendar where I can find some peace and calm. So thank you so much, Shane and Anya and everybody for sharing all this for the past 6-7 weeks.
No, thank you all. I felt the same, and I feel really sad that because it's such a nice small group as well. On the other hand, could you quickly give us a hint if you won't be able to join for the Monday evening session?
Wednesday.
Sorry, Wednesday, and it's for Paris and Edinburgh and Brussels. It would be definitely 6 o'clock. I'm not sure about Cape Town. Is it 9 or 10 p.m. then? What time is it now in Cape Town?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Oh, so it will be 10.
Same hour difference. What about Kenya? I'm not sure. You have 1 hour difference to Cape Town on Yango.
2 hours more.
2 hours. Yeah. That's in the beginning. So yeah, it would essentially. I mean, Alejandra, for you, it's. I'm not sure if you got up at that time, but.
I can. For me, works is at 9 in the morning. So like, I'm not a morning person, but I can do it at 9. I really appreciate this. Like everybody says, I look forward to this. This is gonna power my resilience too. Just listening to everybody kind of helps me stay on my resilience on too. So it's really helpful.
Yeah.
So I can do Wednesdays.
Okay. Who couldn't do the Wednesday call?
Well, I have a question. Did you say the 5 p.m.? What is it?
GMT. Sorry,
5
Edinburgh.
p.m.
It's 5 p.m. then. Yeah, sorry.
5 p.m. Okay, I can't do it next Wednesday, but other Wednesdays I can. But I have another commitment next Wednesday during that time, like from 4 to 6. So, but other Wednesdays I should be able to. Frank,
Yeah.
you were going to say something, I think.
Yeah, no, it's probably won't be easy for me because 6 is typically the time where we get to dinner. So yeah, but maybe it's just a thing of organizing.
Yeah.
For me also, I'll need to adjust some schedule and try my best.
Yeah. We stay connected, and if you don't if you realize you can't make it on a Wednesday, we might resume. I mean, we don't know how this situation is going to continue, and you have at least Shane's email address, I suppose, because you're connected to the center directly with your email.
Yeah, and I mean, people feel free to in the chat if people wanted to share contacts, and yeah, like Anya said, who knows if there's a demand for it. I mean, and there's availability, we can continue it with a smaller group another time. But let's see how next week goes, and we can maybe check in. My email is. Sorry, Alejandra.
Sorry. Do we have to register again for the Wednesday one to get the link to do the Wednesday one?
Yeah, it's a good question. I imagine you do. I've signed in each Friday to get into this. I've signed in and it's changed each week, but it's on the web. It'll be on the website. So you just literally follow the click of the Resilience session.
Just register there. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And again, if you're interested in any of the other trainings that are coming up, there's quite a lot happening in the next week or two. And that's all on the website as well. If you just click on the trainings. And right now, just to say, because I think it is important, with so much unpredictability and so many people actually challenged by losing work, and it's a sliding scale in terms of the costs, and in order to facilitate the most people that can possibly participate, it goes from 0 to whatever you can contribute. So finance shouldn't be a problem in terms of your own availability and space to be able to participate in a CIT program. But I really do appreciate everyone's comments each week and everyone's honesty and presence. And for me, common humanity and gratitude will probably remain the strong parts of the CIT program that are jumping out over the coming weekend. So I hope you have a lovely, restful weekend. And I really hope to connect with this group again. Some of you will definitely, I know I'll definitely be in touch with, but let's hope we can stay connected somehow. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Masalama.
Bye.
And Onyango and Anya, I'm sure we'll be in touch soon again today, but enjoy the little break from me while you can.
Bye.
Bye bye, Alejandra. Onyango, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. It's really great to, well, I can see you as well. I was going to say really great to see your photograph, but I hope you're well. And it's, yeah, I can see you smiling now in live form. So it's nice to connect. And thanks for joining this morning. You brought a little flavor that we didn't have previous week. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you got my text or not, but I have to literally run. Hopefully I'm allowed to run. I've a doctor's note to say I'm allowed out. It's still that severe, the restrictions here, but I have to go give blood tests and then come back. But would it be okay for you? Actually, right now that I have you, if there's any time today that suits you better than 1 hour from now or 40 minutes from now, I can also do another time. But literally just to go through some plans.
Maybe an hour from now will be okay.
Are you sure?
The schedule today is easy. So if whichever hour that we set, maybe 2 hours from now, 3 hours from now, I'll set it on my calendar, set a reminder.
Okay, so now it's in my calendar, it's 11:15, and for you it's 1:15.
Past 12.
Oh, so you're 1 hour ahead of us. Okay. So it would 1:30 be okay for you?
1:30 my time or
Your time. Your time. 12:30 my time. 1:30 your time.
1:30 is okay.
That will give me time enough to go and get back. I like you
Okay.
always have color. You're always wearing something colorful.
This is for my bike for cycling.
Ah, fantastic! And were you doing cycling today?
No. Actually, yesterday, but it was just close to me, and I was wearing my vest actually when we were going to a breakout session. So I had to, because I had to turn on.
I like it.
Very fast.
Hakuna Matata. And us Mazungos are always wearing the same white or black or just bland colors, but we'll try to get some better colors going. So I'll see you at 1:30 your time, and I look forward to chatting. And don't worry, it shouldn't take us too long, Oyango, but it would be nice to have a check-in and just go through some of the CEs, but also maybe a little bit of a plan where we go from here.
Okay, cool. Thank you. See you later.
Masalama.